Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to show you 14 billionaires who went broke. But before we begin, if you are new here, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos. Without further ado, let's get to the video. Number 1. Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes was once featured on the cover of Forbes magazine for co-founding a $9 billion firm. She is now facing charges of fraud. With just a few drops of blood, Holmes claimed her business, Theranos, was creating a new blood test that could test for hundreds of diseases and ailments. In actuality, the firm was still a long way from developing this technology. Holmes now faces a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison for 9 charges of wire fraud and 2 counts of conspiracy in connection with the defrauding of investors, doctors, and patients. In March 2021, her trial is set to commence. Number 2. Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff will go down in history as one of the most notorious con artists. Madoff perpetrated the world's largest Ponzi scheme, defrauding investors of an estimated $17.5 billion. Trustees are said to have recovered $13 billion in stolen funds. Madoff is currently serving a federal prison sentence of 150 years. He requested a compassionate release in early 2020, alleging that he had fewer than 2 years to live owing to kidney failure. His request was turned down. Number 3. Alan Stanford. Despite not being as well known as Bernie Madoff, Alan Stanford made and lost his money through a Ponzi scam. He cheated roughly 18,000 people out of their funds, many of whom were seniors. His scheme is said to have brought in more than $7 billion. Stanford's net wealth plummeted after his scam was exposed. For his part in the scam, he received a sentence of 110 years in prison. Unlike Madoff's victims, however, few of Stanford's victims have been able to reclaim their funds. Number 4. Iike Batista. Oil millionaire Iike Batista, once the world's 7th richest person, was the face of Brazil's rising economy in 2012. When Batista's oil company, OGX, couldn't keep up with promised production, investors withdrew their money, his business began to fall apart. Batista declared bankruptcy when his finances deteriorated further as Brazil's economy collapsed. Batista was accused with money laundering after investors learned he was involved in a kickback scheme that brought down many of Brazil's most powerful politicians. He received a 30-year sentence for corruption and money laundering, as well as an extra 8-year sentence for market manipulation in 2019. Number 5. Sean Quinn. Sean Quinn had a net worth of over €3 billion when he was Ireland's richest man. He expanded his family quarry and ventured into other industries such as manufacturing, real estate, power plants, and others. Quinn's corporate empire was shattered by a disastrous investment in the Anglo-Irish Bank. He attempted to save the bank's fortune by withdrawing funds from his insurance company, but the bank's stock was in freefall. Taxpayers had to bail out the bank, and the government took control. Quinn filed the bankruptcy in 2011, claiming that his assets were worth less than £50,000. Number 6. Björgulfur Gudmundsson. In 2008, Björgulfur Gudmundsson was the chairman and principal owner of Iceland's second largest bank. However, the global financial crisis that year took its toll on banking systems, and Gudmundsson's bank went bankrupt. The Icelandic government took over the company, wiping out all of Gudmundsson's assets. He declared bankruptcy, acknowledging that he was in debt to the tune of hundreds of millions of pounds. Gudmundsson had to sell the Premier League soccer team he owned in London, West Ham United Football Club. Number 7. Aubrey McClendon. As the co-founder of large oil and gas business Chesapeake Energy, Aubrey McClendon was allegedly worth $1.2 billion. He may not, however, have changed his money on the basis of honesty. He was charged with federal conspiracy charges in 2016. McClendon was accused by the government for unfairly rigging bidding for drilling licenses. McClendon died in a car accident the day after he was accused, which some have suspected was a suicide. Despite McClendon's appearance of affluence prior to his death, Creditors claimed he borrowed $465 million in 2013 for business projects and demanded payment from his estate. McClendon's net worth may have been close to zero when he died due to outstanding obligations. Number 8. Vijay Mallya. At the age of 28, Indian billionaire Vijay Mallya took over his father's liquor industry and grew it into a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate with a net worth of $1.5 billion. Later, he took over Kingfisher Airlines, but in order to keep the company afloat, he racked up tremendous debt. He was charged with $1.3 billion in money laundering and fraud beginning in 2012. Mallya fled India for the United Kingdom in 2016 after being pursued by creditors. He has been fighting extradition in British courts since 2018. In October 2020, the UK Ministry of External Affairs informed the Indian authorities that Mallya would not be returned to India until a secret legal matter was resolved. Number 9. Adolf Merkel. Adolf Merkel built a massive corporate empire out of his small family firm in Germany, which now has over 100 companies and 100,000 people. His net worth increased to more than $9 billion as a result of this. However, Merkel's investment company went bankrupt, and he personally lost hundreds of millions of euros by shorting Volkswagen shares. Merkel was forced to consider bankruptcy as a result of this, as well as global recession in 2008. Merkel committed suicide in 2009, his investment firm, VBM, owing banks billions of euros at the time. Number 10. Patricia CLuj. Patricia CLuj, a heiress and socialite, was married to John CLuj, the richest man in America, in the 1980s. Patricia's settlement included Albemarle, a Virginia estate and winery, when they separated in 1990. CLuj Estate Winery and Vineyard was founded by her and was a success. She also built a premium community near Albemarle with multi-million-dollar homes. However, when the housing crisis struck, everything came to a screeching halt. CLuj was compelled to sell her estate for a fraction of the asking amount to settle her obligations because the residents were empty. In 2011, it was purchased by Donald Trump, the future president of the United States. Number 11. Bernie Ebbers. In the late 1990s, WorldCom appeared to be a prosperous telecom business, and its CEO, Bernie Ebbers, was worth much as $1.4 billion. But much of that prosperity was a hoax. WorldCom's profits were wrongly declared for the wrong year, and billions in expenses were misclassified as investments, increasing the company's profits by a factor of 10. WorldCom's books were wrong by $11 billion in total. Ebbers was sentenced to 25 years in prison when the company went bankrupt. After his lawyers stated that his health was deteriorating, he was released in late 2019. In February 2020, Ebbers passed away. Number 12. Joslyn Wildenstein. After collecting an estimated $2.5 billion in a divorce settlement from her art dealer spouse in 1999, Joslyn Wildenstein became a billionaire for the first time. Wildenstein has been highlighted in tabloids several times for her infamous spending habits and extensive cosmetic procedures, earning her the moniker Catwoman. After several works of art in her trust were discovered to be faked or valued far less than expected, she told reporters that her net worth had plummeted. She's also had to deal with a number of lawsuits and foreclosures. Wildenstein filed for bankruptcy in 2018, stating she had no money in her bank account. Number 13. Chuck Feeney. On this list of billionaires who went broke, Chuck Feeney stands out because his massive net worth drop was planned. Feeney started the airport business Duty Free Shoppers, then founded the private equity firm General Atlantic, amassing an estimated net worth of $8 billion. Over the last 40 years or so, he has decided to contribute practically all of his money to various domestic and international charities and charitable activities. Feeney ended his charity company in September 2020, having given away all of his wealth except his and his wife's retirement funds. Number 14. Bill Wang. When his over-leveraged market bets came tumbling down in March 2021, it looks that Bill Wang became one of the newest billionaires to lose everything. Wang's private investment firm, Archegos Capital Management, is said to have used loans to wager on the stock prices of many media companies, including Viacom CBS and Discovery Inc., which had inflated their perceived worth in the year 2021 before lately dropping. Archegos defaulted on margin calls and was forced to sell several of its positions, significantly depressing stock prices. Brokers such as Credit Suisse and Nomura are expected to lose billions of dollars according to reports. It's been impossible to figure out how much money Wang lost after pleading guilty to insider trading charges in 2012. According to Bloomberg, it amounts to one of the single largest losses of personal fortune in history. According to former Goldman Sachs partner Mike Novogratz, Wang's personal wealth was estimated to be around $10 billion before the margin calls, while the firm's positions were valued at around $100 billion. That's all for today's video, and thanks for watching. If you liked my video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We will see you in the next one.